In today's Fix It guide, I'm going to show you how to fix broken legs on vintage Advanced Dungeons and Dragons figures by LJN. The original line of figures came with jointed shoulders and the legs held on by a rubber band, which you can sort of see in there. The rubber band used is similar to those used in Mego, G.I. Joe and other figures, and so perishes over time, and quite often you'll end up with a figure like this where the legs have just fallen off, and the rubber band in this one has snapped, as you can see here. The problem with fixing these guys is that the bodies are glued together, so there's no easy way to take them apart and put a rubber replacement band in to reattach the legs, and I'll show you how to do that today. It's fairly fiddly, but you can fix it. Let's see what you need. So what you'll need to do this is a few paper clips. These will need to be bent into some shapes, which I'll show you in a minute. Some thread that's fairly strong so you can pull it without it breaking, and about 20 centimeters worth of elastic. This is a fabric covered elastic. You can pick this up from most sort of haberdashery departments. Right, so what you'll need to do first is take your paper clips and bend them into two different types of tool. One you'll need is this sort of shape, so a small hook on the back of it, can you see that? And the other one you'll need is this sort of shape. I've left the one end unbent so that I can actually hold these in my hands and use them in the toy. Right. This first bit is probably the fiddliest. If you can see inside this toy, there is a peg that goes from the back to the front of the toy. You can just see it there, and you need to thread the string or cotton through and behind that. This is a very fiddly job, but you can do it. What you'll need is the first tool that I showed you how to make here. So take your thread like so and hook it into the notch on that tool that you've made out of the paper clip, like so, and push it into the toy. I'm going in on the toy's left hand side here and push it into place. Now this is where it gets tricky. You have to sort of keep pushing more cotton into the notch. I don't know if you can see that. It's really very fiddly to do this. Just keep pushing more and more cotton into that notch using the hook, and sort of twist it around. Try and get as much in as you can. I'll do a bit more. Right, that's probably enough. Then you take your other tool made out of the paper clip, which is the hook one, and go into the other side behind the peg, and with a little bit of twisting and hooking. This is not the easiest thing to do, especially not with the camera in front of you. Okay, and using the second tool, I've just gone off camera just to do this because it's really fiddly. You can then hook the string through. There you go. You can see I've actually managed to get a piece of string through behind the peg that connects the two sides of the body together. There you go. That's the first and the hardest step that you'll have to do here. Right, now for the next bit. To the piece of thread that you've managed to get through the body, you need to tie your elastic, and you want to tie the string in the middle of the elastic because you're going to make a loop of elastic through the figure. So I'm just going to loosely tie the elastic on there like that, and using the string I can now pull all of this back through the figure. Don't pull too far so that you've still got you need the two ends on one side and a loop on the other side. You can now untie this string. You no longer need that. You've got the elastic where you want it. Now that you have your elastic through the toy, you need to tie a knot. The knot needs to be a good tight knot, and also you want the elastic as short as possible so that the legs are held on quite tightly. The way I'm going to do this is just to pass the two ends through the loop, and using a screwdriver so that I can keep the end of the elastic out to hook the legs back onto, just tie as tight a knot as I possibly can. This is still a bit of a work in progress end here, but it does seem to work, and it gets your figure back together. Right, so I've got a loose knot there. I'm going to try and tighten this really as tight as I possibly can. It's a bit fiddly. Actually, scrap that, change of plan. Right, quick change of plan there. I'm actually going to use one of the paper clips I have spare to hook onto the elastic good and tight, so that if it goes inside the body of the figure, I'm not going to lose the elastic. I still pull that out, so I'll just tie that on like so. There you go, you can see. So I can now tie this knot very tightly. I'm going to do this off camera because it's really awkward to do it with the camera in front of me. Right, there you go. I've managed to tie a knot in the elastic, making the elastic as short as I possibly can, and because I had the paperclip on there, I can still get the end of the elastic out to hook back onto legs. So what we need to do now is just trim the excess bits of elastic there with a pair of scissors. So I've got some scissors here, and I'm going to cut this relatively short. I still leave a few little ends on there. So just cut those off like that. Right, now I need to hook the legs back on. So pulling the elastic out with the paper clip, I can get a screwdriver through there, which will make life a lot easier, because I can now pull this out of the figure and then carefully hook the legs back onto this. Again, not easy to do with the camera in front of you, but there you go. There you go. So the legs are now held onto the elastic. I can take that out, and I can take the paper clip away like so, and now there you go. The reattached legs are slightly looser than the original elastic, but as this is such an awkward figure to get into, I'm still pretty happy with how this has come out, and the figure is still quite displayable. As you can see here, he stands up and is easily posed. I guess with a little bit more practice I will be able to tie the elastic and make the loop shorter, but as this is one of my early attempts, I'm still pretty happy with how that's gone. Anyway, hope that's helped you, and thanks for watching.